Hello and welcome to Frankenstein's podcast, where it's all about the monster. We're a creature feature podcast about monsters and why we love them. I'm one of your hosts, Joe Praska.
And I'm your other host, Khalid Hussein.
How's it going, Khalid?
Oh, it's groovy, man. I'm hanging out. It's a Monday at the time of this recording, so the work week's just starting up and doing the work from home thing because the world is falling apart again at a steady rate.
Yeah, it's a little rough. I feel like at least where I am, it's pandemic's resurging, so we have to not go inside places, and then it's also like residual smoke from massive wildfires, so we can't go outside places. So there's nothing.
I heard about the smoke from the wildfires. I always wanted to bring a little bit of LA back to Minnesota, but not that part of it.
Yeah, not fun.
No, it's incredibly depressing. I've seen some of the footage too, but I mean, I don't know, part and parcel with the end times vibes, you know?
Yeah, it's just the dystopia we're getting used to, I guess.
I guess. I don't know. I mean, what district do you want to be in? I want to be in the district that makes I don't know, snickerdoodle cookies.
I was just thinking one that makes pies. I guess we're gonna be in the same district.
What if there's just multiple bakery-based districts?
Yeah, there's probably a couple. It's got to be a few. You got to specialize in certain type. My family owned a bakery growing up, and we actually didn't make pies because they were too specialized.
See, that's a good point.
So,
you got to have the pie district and the snickerdoodle cookie district.
That's exactly. So I guess maybe we could be neighboring districts, though.
I like that because then maybe we get buddy passes. We get to see each other once or twice a month. Maybe we'd be even closer than we are now.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Don't go to the Capitol, I guess, right? That's where all the snooty people live.
Yeah, no, I don't want to be near the snooties. I'm a big anti-snooty guy. All I need's my snickerdudes.
Yeah, says the LA guy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you know this, but LA consists almost entirely of down to earth and approachable people. So, this is actually in keeping with my motif.
Oh, good. Yeah, I'm just kidding. I don't like to generalize.
I do.
Yeah,
Everybody
we've
who
gathered
listens
that.
to this podcast is a beautiful genius.
Well, that's a good generalization, actually.
Yeah, you can use your powers for good.
Yeah, there we go. Cool. And on that note, I've got a joke for you, Khalid.
Oh God.
So, what do you call a cow who is a part of King Arthur's Round Table?
A cow who is a part of King Arthur's Round Table. All I'm getting is Camelot, which I hope it's not the joke. So yeah, hit me with it.
Sirloin.
Ew.
Get it, like a sirloin steak.
Yeah, but all I'm thinking about is a really honorable groin area. I'm just you know what I mean?
You're thinking of just loin.
Yeah, because the name is sirloin. I get the wordplay. I the requisite cringe for your wordplay there, but now all I'm thinking about is just a really noble groin.
I mean, take it as you will.
That's how I'm taking it, and I'm mad at you.
Yeah. Well, I didn't take the low-hanging fruit. A lot of King Arthur puns are all about something about circumference, because round table and stuff. So I didn't take one of those. So you got to respect that.
Yeah. You get points for not doing that, I guess.
Yeah. So on that note, what are we talking about today, Khalid?
Today, we're talking about the 2021 film by David Lowery, story by Anonymous. It's called The Green Knight, and I've got a little synopsis here. I don't know why that was so hard for me to spit out. I got a synopsis from our homeboy Google, so it goes a little something like this. King Arthur's headstrong nephew embarks on a daring quest to confront the Green Knight, a mysterious giant who appears at Camelot. Risking his head, he sets off on an epic adventure to prove himself before his family and court. Done.
What a monster!
They're creatures of the abstract that live off potential energy.
It's alive!
And before we move into some details, Khalid, I think we should. We forget to say this a lot of times, but it's usually a given. But we should definitely say that in this case, there will be heavy spoilers for this movie. It is a brand new movie. I think it just came out. If you're listening to this, it'd probably be like a week or two ago. So try to make sure that you have seen the movie wherever you are, or if you don't care about spoilers, then continue on.
Yeah, you beautiful genius. Go watch this movie and then listen to this podcast. It's a
Yeah, and
callback to
also,
when I was generalizing.
yeah, and also spoilers for the 14th century poem as well.
All right, guys. I'm gonna talk about this poem real quick. Spoiler alert! I'm just saying, if you want to step out the room real quick, we're just gonna talk about this poem.
I mean, you gotta throw it out there.
I swear to God, if somebody got mad at me for spoiling a poem, I have not physically fought anybody in years, and that might bring me back into the octagon, Joe.
Well, here we go. I mean, you're putting it out there, so.
Yeah, I guess so. I've willed it into existence, if nothing else.
So, what were some of your initial thoughts about this movie?
Yeah, this movie is great. Like, it's not okay. It's great in the sense that like I didn't like hate at any point like what my eyes were taking in. It's one of those really visually gratifying movies. Just about every scene just has like those like awe-inspiring moments where like you can just take in the entire like production value of it. And I mean it was pretty cheaply made too, it like compared to like what we're used to with these like overinflated blockbusters. um so like to just see them like just take advantage of a landscape and like really just highlight that or play with color and just like the subtlest way and not to overdo it so that when it does get incorporated it's like that much more impactful. The performances are so good. Obviously Dev Patel is like the standout, but then Alicia Vikander, Joel Edgerton, the guy who played King Arthur, I really liked him too. I don't think I've ever seen like that take of King Arthur, which is like super cool. And we'll get into it more as it go on. But I say all this to say, like, yeah, like just every level of this, the writing, the directing, the music, it all was firing on the same cylinder. So
Awesome.
yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, I'm with you. I've been hyped for this movie like since we first saw the trailer a long time ago. I say it lived up to my expectations in that I really enjoyed it, but it definitely surpassed and subverted a lot of expectations too, because I didn't quite know what was going to happen when I went into it. I wasn't too well versed in the poem that this is based on, but watching it, I like you said, I was like continually enamored with what was in front of me. It felt like one of those movies that just really makes you pay attention to everything on the screen. Like I actually felt myself thinking about and noticing like how the shots were composed. Like what are we focusing on here? Why is it like this? Or what are the uses of color? Like I don't always think about that in movies, but it was just like, this feels so intentional in a lot of ways. And so I just feel like I appreciated how everything felt like it was given such weight, and, I feel like watching the movie and like once the credits rolled, I didn't feel like I fully understood or grasped everything. But it's definitely one that sits with you. Like I kept thinking about it and kind of having more realizations and reading people's theories and stuff and reading elements about the poem and getting more like understanding of the depth of it. But that being said, it feels like a movie that's really going to benefit from rewatches a lot.
Definitely, yeah. I cannot wait to just have this at home and maybe give it a few months so it's like it all hits me a little more fresh. But I can't wait to just sit down with it and really really parse through it one more time. It demands rewatch, if you will.
Agreed. So like you mentioned that you kind of appreciated like the cinematography and the color. I know so you would know more in this area than I do. And I feel like you've gotten a detail of some stuff like when we talked about It Follows back in the day, like how they use space and stuff. But like, what were your thoughts on just like how this was like shot and filmed?
So I think that like the things that really caught me, like I kind of mentioned, were their use of space, specifically whenever like it was like an outdoor like landscape thing. They did it a couple of times, but they would play with orientation. So The most striking one for me was that really extended. I can't remember if it's right before or right after the Giants, but when he's walking up like towards that cliff edge, and the camera flips upside down, so the sky is the ground and the ground is the sky, and it should, for all intents and purposes, be disorienting, but it's really not. It's just very beautiful. They just keep finding like the most like perfect patches of land to let the camera just like take in. They do it one more time that I've noticed that I appreciated was when he jumps into the water for the skull. Which that was probably, honestly, now that I think about it, that's probably my favorite part of the movie, was that whole sequence.
Mm-hmm.
But when he dives into the water and the camera goes upside down, just kind of in that way that, when you're like swimming at night, that disorienting feeling where like if after your feet have like completely submerged and you're all the way in the water, up is down. Nothing, like your entire sense of space gets like flipped around again, and that camera move there where its flipped orientation was super cool to see that feeling visualized.
Yeah.
And then other than that, the big thing I really liked was anytime there was magic was the only time they would incorporate the use of color. Did you pick up on that?
Oh, I didn't. No, that's cool. I noticed color like was intentional, but that makes sense. Wow.
I could be wrong, but I know that like the colored light, like anytime there was colored light, it was to, at least when I noticed it, was to signify magic was going on, which was such an interesting and cool choice. Because like when you think of like the movies like Harry Potter or any movie that incorporates magic, it's usually like VFX, but it's also just kind of boils down to like using a color that isn't already in scene to confuse you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like it's like in another movie when Merlin is like doing like the vibe check on the Green Knight. That's all I can call it. I don't know. Like they all look at Merlin and are like, is he cool? Is he gonna like just start hacking us? And he's like, give me 1 sec, let me do a vibe check. And then in any other movie, it would be like this whole VFX like thing where like maybe like he goes like Doctor Strange and like kaleidoscopes everything, and like you're like, oh yeah, magic's happening. But with this, it's literally just like I think it was like a green light or like a red light, just like kind of like shines over him, and he closes his eyes, and then it goes away, and he opens his eyes, and he's like, he's chill. He's not chill. He's here to do some stuff, but he's not gonna do it like out of pocket.
Like an immediate threat.
Exactly. And then there were a few other examples, but I mean, I think you get the point. Like anytime there was magic, like it would just literally be like a light that wouldn't naturally be there, like shines on the character. And I thought that was so cool.
That is super interesting. I'm really excited to rewatch it now, especially for that.
Yeah, man. It's some cool stuff in this. And what about you? Anything that you picked up on that was awesome?
I mean, pretty much. I feel like you kind of hit the nail on the head with a lot of the stuff. You made me actually think about it a little bit differently. But yeah, I just felt like there were just so many really beautiful like shots and just like visuals. There was also just some really interesting like homages in the way things were shot to like 80s fantasy, which I really appreciated because as you know, Khalid, I don't know if our listeners know, I am a big 80s fantasy movie fan. But like there was that scene where Sir Gawain is riding up and he sees that like skeleton in the cage. Remember that?
Yeah.
Like that part was striking for a number of reasons, but actually like it kind of mirrors a scene in the movie Willow, George Lucas's movie, the fantasy one with Warwick Davis.
Heard of it, never seen it.
Yeah, there's a part where they come upon Val Kilmer's character in the movie in one of those cages, and it's like it's kind of framed similarly, so it feels like that was meant to be a nod to that. And then they actually did use some old school like matte paintings for some of the backgrounds at times, like those old movies did, because they didn't always have the budget to have some great scenery. So like he, as a director, like decided to do that to give it this kind of like old school feel in some spots. It's hard to notice, but it's kind of cool.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, I definitely picked up on like that, just very like I hate like calling it like DIY, but like there is just like a scrappy energy to this movie that really, I don't know. It endears you. at least. Like, it's not like you're sitting there like going like, oh man, this feels cheap, and like I'm trying not to knock points off. It's like this feels like it was made with a lot of effort and love, and everybody that did this is so skilled that even on limited resources, I'm impressed.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's impressive. I feel like we should mention too, if anyone's plugging along and listening and not hasn't seen the movie and doesn't care about spoilers, the synopsis didn't actually mention like why Sir Gawain is like going to find the Green Knight. Yeah, so the Green Knight actually comes in on Christmas to the round table during the celebration and does and challenges somebody to like a beheading game, which is like a literary thing from back in the day. But the idea is that one of the knights would get the chance to fight the Green Knight, and wherever he strikes him, then if he strikes him, then he would have to come find the Green Knight in his chapel a year later, and the Green Knight can return that strike. And then so Sir Gawain comes in all cocky and is like, "Ah, oh, what?" But
I don't mean to cut you off, Joe,
yeah.
but it's the way you described it is how the movie plays it, and yeah, it is. For if you haven't seen the movie and you're still listening, it's the worst game. It's a stupid, like, just imagine like, all right, bro, like I'm gonna break into your house and I'm gonna challenge you to a game where you get to like stab me, regardless of what trauma that might inflict on you. But then a year later, you gotta walk to my house and let me stab you. Like,
it's a bad game. Yeah.
none of it sounds appealing. And that's a credit to the movie that it makes such a like just like downright terrible like I don't even know if the premise, but like offer. Like, it makes such a terrible offer so enticing.
Well, it does, but it also, I feel like the movie also makes a point to make you feel how uncomfortable the whole thing is. Like, it's not this like heroic moment, even though he kind of makes it. He tries to make it feel like it is for a moment, but everyone's so uncomfortable and unsettled the whole time.
Yeah.
And like as the audience, like the way it's framed also is just like it's really unsettling.
Oh, definitely. The other knights of the round table, like, it's pretty funny because like King Arthur spends like the 5 minutes before the Green Knight comes in, just like upping them, like giving them big ups, just like, you guys are so dope. Like, you don't even know. Like, we've done so many adventures. We've taken down like entire like kingdoms. Like, we're in the history books, and it's all because of you. Like, you all earned your rings. Like, it's like Tom Brady just champing up the like New England Patriots. Just like, Gronk, dude, you're the best knight, dude. Like, it's very like clearly like setting up a subversion in a minute, because then the Green Knight comes in and he gives his whole spiel and he's like, all right, which one of you guys is trying to play this game? And then everybody's just like quiet. Like, I think I saw one of the knights just like pull his phone out and look at it. It was a very funny subversion.
Yeah. No, it was really well done. Yeah. I guess like another element that's interesting about this movie is like it's a dark fantasy ultimately, like genre wise, but I wouldn't say it's a horror movie, but it feels like it plays in the horror realm sometimes.
I would agree with that. Definitely. It definitely cribs from like the horror genre. That much is true. Like my favorite sequence, or I guess subplot in the movie.
With the ghost?
Yeah, with the ghost. You know who that is too, right? It's the girl from
Saint Winifred. Oh, the character?
Yeah.
The actor,
Well,
yeah.
yeah, the actor. She's the one that's like in like what is it? Solo, and she was the main villain in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, what's her name?
I don't know. I call her Redhead Don't Trust.
That's true. You're never supposed to trust her. Although you kind of end up supposed to trust her in Solo, in a sense.
Yeah, at the very end. If I'm supposed to fight you and not trust you for like 95% of the runtime, the nickname stands.
Erin Kellyman.
Yeah, that's her.
Yeah, she was good.
She was great. But yeah, like her whole sequence, basically as like this woman who was beheaded for turning down a knight's advances, and then like her like soul, I guess, is trapped at the house that he was finding lodging in until he can recover her head. That whole sequence just like really grabbed me, and a part of that was just like the horror aspect of it. Like, I think it had the best of both worlds in my mind, because I'm not a big like, oh, I love to get scared thing. So like it's like typically in any other movie I'd be watching a lot of that sequence just waiting for like a jump scare, but like they were really just like incorporating just like that like low light like stark shadows thing, and the whole time I was like, oh, I really don't have anything to worry about. This guy has a very clear destiny to go fight that Green Knight. Like, it's not like some monster's gonna come out and bite his head off. So it was fun to enjoy in that lens of like, oh, actually horror without the scary parts is just nice to look at.
Yeah, there's a lot of good about it. Yeah, I like that. So actually kind of a good like segue a little bit here, that the original poem. So how much do you know about the poem?
I know that I Googled it to try and read it, and I can't. So that's it.
Well, it's written in old like Middle English, but there's been translations that you can find. But ultimately, like there's quite a bit that's different from this movie to the poem, as I'm sure you could just gather by like artistic license. But in the poem, Gawain is actually a knight already, but he leaves Camelot, and they have like a line that's something along the lines of what was it, like he many adventures were had. I don't really know exactly what it was, but his travels were momentous, and it doesn't end too much to tell, and it skips right to when he gets to Lord Bertilac's house, the manor.
Mm-hmm.
And so like none of the middle stuff in the movie is in the poem. Like that was all added in. Like, so the bandits was a new thing. The St. Winifred bit was a new thing. The giants was a new thing. Much of the fox plot was different. So all that stuff was new. Yeah.
That's just a different story entirely.
Kind of. I mean, it's pulling from things. So like the St. Winifred, the ghost part was actually pulled from like an old, like a 7th century Welsh like legend. She's like a virgin martyr who was beheaded by a suitor when she decided to be a nun, and like where her head fell, like a spring like form, like a little spring. And so another saint had to like help her recover her head, and then she ended up being living again. So it takes from that legend. So it's kind of cool. Like the Green Knight, the original poem is called Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, but that I think it's a Welsh poem. So they pulling from like other Welsh legends is kind of a cool way to like pad the movie and put some new stuff into it.
No, that was, I mean, a good call on their part. Like, for me, who has never read the poem or anything like that, just judging the movie on its own merits, like nothing felt like fluff or like it was like delaying like the story that I was there to see. It all felt like it was of a piece. And I think a big part of that has to do with like his assignment in and of itself is not that hard. So so really like you kind of just, in most movies it's like, oh yeah, it's gonna be like you're keying up for like this epic fight, and it's like, even at the beginning when like all you knew was that he had to go and like receive a blow in kind, I was like, I don't know, like this movie doesn't have that high of a budget. Like that guy in that Green Knight suit does not look like he's gonna start doing like backflips. It's probably gonna be a straightforward ending. So like just like accepting that in my head early on, and like then being able to enjoy each sequence leading up to the final scene like was definitely the way to go. I really appreciated the scenes more.
Yeah, and I think each like trial, in a sense that he ended up facing, sort of reflect like his overall journey. Like much of the thing is like honor, loyalty, like those old school like chivalry values. And I think like there's one shot where we see his shield, which is that star. Remember that?
Yeah.
And it's called a pentangle, I guess they call it in the old school knight stuff. But each side point represents like a knightly virtue, and their friendship, generosity, chastity, courtesy, and piety, or like being religious. So like I've read some theories that like the different trials that we kind of see him go through are meant to represent like him, like kind of having to either face and either fail or succeed in one of those virtues.
That's interesting. And I mean, it's also just like, so I don't think we talked about it yet, but the whole journey is like the catalyst of it is that his mom puts him up to it, more or less, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like she summons she summons the Green Knight. The whole idea is that what's his name? Gawain?
Gawain. I don't.
Gowan.
Gawain. They say it differently. A few people say it differently.
Yeah. So Gawain Brady, he's like this like party boy. He likes to get like hammered and like knock people out at pubs, and then he's got like his hot like ex machina girlfriend, and everything's good, but he's also like clearly like the only like living successor to King Arthur, and he really hasn't done jack shit with his life. So it feels like his mom is just like every like parent of a millennial that's like struggling to figure out what to do, and she's just like, all right, you know what, we're gonna put you on a quest. I'm gonna summon this Green Knight thing, and you're gonna get your quest, and you're gonna come back the man that we need. And it's like she does like the whole witching song and dance, and it seems like Arthur's even in on it. They kept that pretty vague though. What do you think about that?
It's great. It's a great question. I have a lot of thoughts on that. So I think it's heavily implied that she's supposed to be Morgan Le Fay.
What is that?
Arthurian legend. Like, so Morgan Le Fay, or like Morgana, I think is another way that people have called her, is I think like a half sister of Arthur in the mythology, and she's actually supposed to be like Sir Gawain's aunt in the mythology, but I think they just kind of changed it. But like ultimately, in the original poem, she is kind of the big bad in the end. Like she basically just kind of jumps out at the end, like, and it's like, "Ha, it was me the whole time." Like, we don't really learn that until like the last couple lines, I guess. But I read that the director David Lowery wanted this to be more of a personal thing between like the mother and son kind of thing, and so he wanted it to be to make a deeper connection instead of it feel like a Scooby-Doo ending where it's just like, oh, it was this person the whole time. Suddenly that kind of it's just like a big bad of the Arthurian myths, you know. So like he changed the relationships a little bit, and so I'm not sure if it's clear like what her motive was in the poem. Her motive was to like test the honor of the knights, like if they would actually go through and like hold up their virtues, basically, that I was talking about. But or she wanted to prove that they wouldn't, and so like the idea of the poem is that he ultimately like does or something, or like, no, actually I think he doesn't, actually, because he keeps the sash in the poem and he has to like wear it as shame later on. But yeah, it's all about that. And so like, I don't know, like, do you think that was like her just trying to be like, oh, you gotta like a kick in the pants to become an adventurer, or do you think it was like, did she want him to like go there and come back and then get power, like be powerful as like a king, so she can kind of help rule? Or I don't know.
I'm glad you asked that, Joe, because unbeknownst to you, I have a theory about what this movie is about that ties into that. That I'm pretty confident is the only accurate like take on this entire movie.
Okay.
So, and I promise you this wasn't just like an out of the way, like going out of my way to like bring this up thing. It ties into your question, but basically this entire movie is about student loans. Are you there? Did you hear me?
Yep. You were waiting for a reaction, but I didn't know what to say.
That's the reaction. That's the reaction I wanted.
All right.
So this movie is about student loans. How, you ask? Simple. Because the entire movie is about this guy who is like coming up out of nowhere to this person who's now of age, and based on the standards of the world that he inhabits, he has to make something of himself. He has to do something with his life. And this guy gives him the offer. He's like, you know what? I'm going to give you that chance. You're going to get the adventure. You're going to get that like self-realizing thing. All you got to do is like, you got to do one thing now, and then the bill comes due in a year. But with student loans, it's supposed to be like 4 or 5 years or whatever. But like Gawain Brady says at the end, he's like, doesn't matter if it's a year or 100 years, it's still the same thing. Like that's the metaphor really hitting home, Joe. So essentially, like his whole like year-long thing of like kind of like taking the accolades of everybody for like beheading the Green Knight, that's like him graduating, and then him like going out on his journey back to like repaying the debt. That's him like having all the college like adventures and stuff like that. So he meets like that weird girl that like it might be a witch, you don't know. Then he meets another weird girl that also might be a witch. You meet a lot of witches in college, Joe.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So you got those adventures. You've got the like lessons learned, like that cool guy that probably looks like he's on Molly is gonna rob you eventually. Um, you're gonna bump into the football players and be like, oh my god, Giants are real. It's I could go on and on, but essentially the story about ultimately like uh every action having a consequence and like the bill coming due. It all literally boils down to Dev Patel's character went to college and now he has to decide if he's going to pay his student loans or spend the rest of his life running away from it, which was what we saw with that flash forward. It was like, what if I just didn't pay my student loans? What would life be like? And it's like, it's pretty good, but it's always going to be hanging on him. He's going to always be like looking around. Also, the rag is in the metaphor. It's like forbearance or like a way to delay the loan. It's not a solution, and you have to like have it on you at all times. But it is an alternative option. So I could go on and on, but I think we understand now that I am a cinematic genius and I dissected all of this on one viewing. So yeah, that's my theory.
Wow. Did you come up with that just now, or had you been thinking about it?
I've been thinking about it since I saw the movie.
Huh. Damn.
It's
That's
pretty
impressive.
good though, right?
That's
It's pretty
impressive.
good
That's
though,
impressive.
right?
Yeah, that works. That works.
Thank you.
I feel like, I mean, you said it now, so now it's going to be out in the world, but you got to write an essay and capitalize on this and get your name on it.
I'm just saying, the Green Knight. You know what else is green? Money.
Wow. Yeah. 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 I mean, that very well could be the modern take on the Green Knight. Yeah.
Yeah, guys, don't pay your student loans. Or do.
Damn.
I can't
Or
remember
do.
where the movie stood on that.
I don't know. I feel like the movie's take was that if you do pay him, you die, right? It's just like, oh, you can't really do it, so you just get your head chopped off.
Yeah, but it's also just like, what's the alternative? It's like you either pay now and you're just like broke, or
Yeah.
you spend the rest of your life like a little better off than broke, but like looking over your shoulder for the debt collector.
You're just depressed and passionless.
Yeah, exactly. Like he was so depressed and passionless. Like
Yeah.
it was sad to see.
Yeah, it was very sad.
But in all honesty though, like I do think the mom like put him up to it because like it was one of those things of like the King Arthur and his guys were like the Avengers, and like you're like the 15th like sequel character to enter the game, and all the really cool stuff has happened. You're not going to get to fight Thanos. You're not going to get to do all the cool stuff that like made them legends. So I'm going to fabricate something that lets you believe that like you're of the same caliber as these people, because otherwise you're just going to spend your entire life having imposter syndrome.
Yeah. No, I think that's it might be a reading, of course. Yeah. I'm not quite sure what I think, but yeah, I think that's a good way to think about it. I remember like at the very end, like when I was first watching this, like I mentioned, I was kind of confused at first. Like I feel like I didn't quite gather the mechanics of the game at the Lord and Lady's house that he was supposed to be partaking in, and like what he was like, what even happened for a little bit, and then like the flash forward. And the
you talking about the couple, like the swingers or whatever?
Yeah, the Lord is Bertilac.
Yeah, like me and my lady.
Like he was like the game, like he's
across
like
the pub, like that whole thing.
Yeah, and he's like, I'll give you all my hunting stuff that I hunt as long as you give me anything that you get here back. You know, that whole thing.
It wasn't even that. It was, I will give you my winnings or something if you give me yours. And it's like,
well, he was like, he said, anything you receive here, you have to give to me.
Yeah, but like, I was kind of grossed out by that when you realize he's talking about like a whole person, or at least like their like affection.
Well, he's talking. Well, I mean, he receives a kiss, so he gives back the kiss. That's in the poem too.
Yeah,
that's what the kiss is about. And then the sash is the what he's supposed to give back right there. Also, was the other thing.
Was that okay?
He was given the sash, so he's supposed to give it back. And that's when he takes it off. That's supposed to symbolize like, oh, he's like following in line with his honor. Like he's holding up his end of the bargain, basically at the end.
I mean, that's interesting. And I mean, I feel like the sash came way too late.
Oh,
Oh God, I wish I
oh,
could take credit for that.
that was good.
Uh, Pun intended. The sash came way too late in the game for like, and like a lot of stock was suddenly put on this like thing that didn't exist for like most of the movie. So like it was kind of a hard
Well,
pivot
he
to
got no,
like
he had the sash right away in the beginning, and he lost it. Remember?
right, but like as far as like caring about the sash or what it meant, like it wasn't until like that scene when she's like, okay, it's magic now because you like you put your juices on it or something.
Kind of, yeah. I can kind of see what you're saying, yeah.
Because like
But
I didn't think about it until then.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. No, so yeah, but that's what it was. And so, like in the for sure in the poem, and I think implied in the movie is that the Green Knight is Lord Bertalic or whatever.
Mm.
Yeah, not the same actor, but I did have an interesting thing. They actually when Sir Gawain gets to the chapel where the Green Knight's just kind of like sleeping. Yeah, they actually the lighting of it. Another thing about the lighting, his face actually the features shift in one of the scenes, and you see all of the actors in the movie like their face kind of becomes the features of the Green Knight at some point.
Oh, that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
I thought that. Yeah, I think that's yeah. I'm not sure if that's meant to imply that the Green Knight is I don't know an amalgamation of everybody or something, or like what that's trying to say. But it's just kind of I think it's like he sees like all of his kind of failures and all of his relationships in some capacity.
That's a good theory, Joe, but I think we've come down pretty firmly as it's student loans.
Student loans. It's got to be student loans. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, wait, is this the same scene where like she's like, "Can I like paint you?" and he's like, "I already have a painting." Is that the
Is
scene
that
you're talking about?
which scene?
Like when you see everybody's face or whatever, or is that
No, it was uh the scene where he's at the Green Knight's chapel and the Green Knight is sleeping. It's
Oh,
the Green Knight
gotcha.
himself. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, okay. I
yeah.
then I'm just bringing up the painting irrespective of that. It's that painting she does or whatever where it's like
Yeah.
he's like frozen in amber or something. Like that was
Hmm.
sick. That was so cool.
Yeah, that was really cool. That was
Yeah.
cool. And yeah, there's a lot of cool symbolism. I feel like I didn't get all of it either, and there's so much in there that's fascinating. And I'm again, I just keep getting more and more excited to rewatch and dig into it again.
I mean, yeah, if only to really like lock into the student loans take, right?
Absolutely. I mean, that's
Yeah.
100% the main reason why.
Yeah, you really want to just see how much weight it holds. I
And
want
then
other people, Friendensteins, if you can just like go out and watch this and report back with more things that like solidify my argument, that would be just chef's kiss.
before we like dig into like Monster, which I guess in this case we're calling the Green Knight a monster, but why do you think that they used what's her name, the same actress for Essel and then the lady?
I mentioned it already, Joe. It's a low budget. Like they literally could not afford another.
What? That's why it's
No.
like, oh, we can't get another person.
That would be a great and hilarious reason.
That's just the trivia. Like everyone's theorizing as to why. It's like, nah, we just don't have any more money.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. No, I think it might come down to like just like the idea of like what he's attracted to, but versus like what he thinks he's supposed to take on in life. Because the whole thing with like at the end when he's about to get beheaded by the Green Knight is like he sees like a what if timeline basically, right? Of like what if I
Mm-hmm.
didn't get my head chopped off and I kept this like magical protecting sash. And even in that world, he impregnates Alicia Vikander when she's like a commoner that he's been like seeing back in his hometown. And then they just take the baby from her and he marries a person of nobility and he leaves her behind. So I think in a lot of ways, like he's always kind of had like a push and pull with that relationship where it's like, I really, really like this girl, but like just based on like the way the rules are set up and like the responsibilities I have to take on, like it just does not work that we're going to be together ultimately. Cause she's like the one that keeps bringing up marriage and stuff like that. And he just kind of sits there quietly. And at first I thought it was just cause he's kind of supposed to be a fuckboy, which he is, you know, like
Yeah.
the king's like hotshot son that like gets, or nephew that gets like drunk and like parties. But he's not really a fuckboy. He's just like very soberly aware of like his station in life versus her. And so
Mhm.
I in my mind, when he sees her as the other character, I should really have like their names pulled up or something. This is probably so confusing,
Well,
but
it's the one that's the commoner. It's Essel, and I think the other one's just called the lady. I don't think she was given a name.
right. So the lady, I mean, obviously, like her and Joel Edgerton's characters are like borderline real. They kind of occupy that same like ghostish space as
Yeah.
the other girl. So like I think a lot of that is like him like manifesting like an Essel that he could theoretically make his queen.
That's interesting. Yeah. Okay. I
What
still
about
don't
you?
quite. I think that makes sense. Yeah. I wasn't sure if maybe like it was sort of like a projection on him, like what he's attracted to, because like she was coming on to him pretty hard, the lady was, and so but like part of his like test of honor is to like resist, you know, like the chivalry thing, to resist like going all in on and like having an affair with her. So like I thought maybe like it was meant to reflect like what he's attracted to in a sense too, to add to that temptation. I was also kind of like I still don't quite know what role the old blind woman, the old woman with the thing on her eyes was.
I mean, I assume she's a part of the same church or whatever that his mom is a part of.
One of
And
the kind of like the witches.
yeah, and I mean, if anything, it probably like that was the other thing I didn't get back to was I'm pretty sure that like not only did the mom like kind of like become the catalyst of his journey by summoning the Green Knight, I think that she like created a lot of the challenges he came across, if not all of them. And with that old lady with the things around her eyes, it's just like the mom had at the beginning of the movie when she had wrapped her eyes to
Mm-hmm.
perform the magic. I think it's like that's like her version of a cell phone where like she's keeping tabs on him.
Oh, that's interesting. So maybe it's just like another one, like maintaining the spells, like over there in that region.
Yeah, exactly. Some kind
Oh,
of
that's
like
interesting.
yeah. She's a 5G tower.
She's a 5G tower.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
keeping the signal strong.
Oh yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm pretty sure. I feel like we're Arthurian scholars now, Khalid. After all this,
Again, 2 words: student loans.
yeah, I think we got it. We got it down. I mean, that might have been what the original things were even about.
Yeah, and I do love that like the Arthurian legends are like so old and like literally like anybody could have contributed to it. That's just such a cool like concept, and that like literally anybody could technically make like Arthurian canon. It's just enough people need to rock with it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Like, I mean, it's like the old school MCU, like you said. Like, there's just like a continual like additions to it, and new characters added, new challenges that are added in. It's like everyone's waiting for the next one, and like this one, like it's anonymous. We don't know. I think there's theories of who it is, but I don't know.
You got to do the you gotta do the what is it the cow one. You got to do the Cow Knight movie, or just go to
Sirloin.
yeah, do a Sirloin Disney Plus 6 episode thing.
Absolutely. I was thinking like this movie has put me in the mood for more like dark Arthurian fantasy movies, and like yeah, Sirloin is ripe for the picking.
Oh my god, I could see it. So grim.
Yeah.
Real status quo changer.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Um yeah, should we monster talk about the Green Knight himself?
Yes. Did you know there was an end credit scene?
No, I didn't. I read that there was.
Yeah, I left too because I was like, of all the movies to do this,
Yeah.
and I don't care if like they did end credit scenes before Marvel. It is strictly a Marvel thing now.
DC does it.
They're copying Marvel, is my point.
So what was it?
So as far as I understand, it's supposed to be like a subversion almost on the ending that was also a subversion where you see god dang it, I picked an article with ads. Anyways, yeah, basically it's like something to do with his daughter in that like timeline that he supposedly like turned his back on, but like you see her anyway.
Okay.
Dang it. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna find it.
That's fine.
Literally just looking at a definition of what a post-credit scene is now. Let's see. There's a website called aftercredits.com. Maybe this one will fucking spill the beans. Okay. We see a little girl find the king's crown and put it on her head. So I don't know what that means. I'm pretty sure it's his daughter in the alt timeline is the end credit sequence. And she finds a crown and puts it on her head, and it's like the story continues, I guess. I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah, I wonder what that's supposed to mean.
I don't know. I guess we didn't need to sit around waiting for that one.
I mean, theorize away, everybody. Maybe it's setting up a cinematic universe.
I'm into it, honestly. If they keep giving us like weirdo like visuals like this and like just like awesome castles, I'm down. It's scratching a medieval itch that a certain show that really screwed the pooch used to satisfy.
I wonder what that is.
Obviously, I'm talking about Iron Fist.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Did you know there actually was an 80s version of this movie? Like an 80s fantasy movie version of this story?
Really?
Yeah, it's called Sword of the Valiant, The Legend of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight from 1984, and Sean Connery plays the Green Knight.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good casting, Connery.
Yeah, that's cool. I don't know how good
I will say Dev Patel was inspired casting. He's just really good at reacting to like crazy stuff and still seeming like he's got it under control.
Yeah. Yeah, he has the heroic look too about him where he like looks knightly, but he also like plays the sort of like scared, unheroic elements really well too.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, it's like I really liked the racial race bending element of this, but I do wish that they would have just like gone full tilt with it and like had like, you know, a couple of the knights were Moors and stuff. Instead it was just like this like very like not white guy stands out now.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, I'm not complaining. We got a non-white lead in a Arthurian legend that's already way more than we would have ever expected even 10 years ago.
Didn't they have a few like non-white leads in the Guy Ritchie one from a few years back?
I don't know, man. Like that
I never watched it.
That movie was weird, dude. Like I tried watching it. It was weird.
Not great.
Yeah, not great. Like I think at one point they like rob a bodega or something.
Why?
I'm only half kidding. Like it's like they like it's very much like Guy Ritchie trying to do like the Guy Ritchie movies he was famous for, but like in an anachronistic world.
I'm kind of curious just how that looks. I don't know. Maybe I'll watch it someday.
Yeah, you know, do or don't. I don't think your life will like hurt for watching it, but it also doesn't suffer from missing it.
Right. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, So Green Knight, right?
Green Knight, 2 thumbs
Green Knight.
up.
Yeah, I liked it. Talking a little bit about the Green Knight himself, I think.
Greeny Knighty.
Yeah. So it's kind of cool. Like I mentioned before, like some of the visual effects were throwbacks to 80s fantasy, but like the Green Knight himself is played by I think you say it's Ralph Ineson. Is that how you say it?
I would have said Innocent, but I like Ineson.
But it's an actor, and so like there was talks of using CGI to make the character or making the character like a puppet, but they really wanted to go like all practical and make him in it's him wearing a suit pretty much the entire time, maybe like a little bit of added like CGI element to it, but it's him under a suit and a whole ton of prosthetics, which I think it's really cool. Like I think the suit and the look of the Green Knight himself is really cool, but what particularly stands out to me is the sounds that he makes whenever he walks or like swings, whatever, like just like the sound of like it's like it sounds like trees falling over, that kind of sound effect that you hear in movies sometimes.
Yeah.
I loved that. I don't know. That the sound effects of it worked really well for me with the character and with like every movement that he made. It just like it emphasized this whole like the Green Knight is this sort of thing of nature, this like, I don't know, like pagan demigod, almost kind of a character who's like connected to nature in some sense.
What I really responded to, and I think a lot of this goes to the actor Ralph Ineson's performance, but like
Yeah.
how much like attention the Green Knight commanded. Like I just he really like leaves an impression, and like there's like a dignity to him that I don't know, like in lesser hands, like this would have been like a character that like would have just like leaned into how scary he looks, and like he'd probably like stab 6 people on his way in just to prove a point or something. And like this thing is just like really like noble, and I think that like lends to like how much scarier the thought of like this game is, or like the consequences are, is like, oh yeah, like a guy like this that doesn't have to be like diplomatic, if he's being diplomatic, like that's like the only warning you're gonna get.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it's yeah, like you said, lends itself to the notion of just like being in over your head, like you don't understand this force, whatever it is. Yeah. I did a little bit of research into like kind of like scholarly adaptations of what people think the Green Knight is, like from the poem in a sense, which I thought was kind of interesting. So like there's like so many like that's another thing that's nice about Arthurian stuff. Like you said, like anyone could add to the canon, but like pretty much everyone has their interpretations now of what they mean. So like it can mean student loans, like it just can, because it means so many things to different people now.
That's canon, baby.
Yeah, it's canon. But like, so because of being green, some scholars have actually believed him to be a manifestation of this green man figure of medieval art, which is this legendary being that was interpreted as a symbol of rebirth, represented like a cycle of new growth. And it's usually this sculpture that's in like old school, like medieval art. Others have just saw him as like a personification of nature. Some have seen like him as the devil, or actually some have compared him to Hades, like as like this being sort of like a pull of like adapting Greek myth into like Welsh myth in a sense. So that's kind of interesting. There's also an element of the Green Knight representing like chaotic nature or like natural evolution, whereas Gawain is supposed to represent more like quote unquote civilized culture, and that and then essentially like the fact that Bertilac is the Green Knight is in some way to represent how like a civilization and nature could coexist in a certain way. So there's been like writing about that. But my favorite quote actually I found on Wikipedia. It says, quote, "Scholars have puzzled over the Green Knight's symbolism since the discovery of the poem. British medievalist C.S. Lewis said the character was, quote, as vivid and concrete as any image in literature. And J.R.R. Tolkien said he was the quote, most difficult character to interpret in the story." So I thought that was kind of cool to see those like fantasy heavy hitters talking about it.
I mean, sounds like they should have just like hit me up, because
yeah.
I've got it all pretty locked up. I've got it down. No, yeah, I mean that. Joking aside, that is pretty interesting. Yeah, I mean, it is one of those like kind of things where like, especially back then when like you really only had your imagination to go off of, like it's probably like even crazier to try and conceive of the Green Knight.
Right, and that's why I think like old like illustrations and paintings and art of stuff like this is so cool to see, because you know some interpretation of it's like just a knight, like a man with leaves on his head or something, and some are just like it's completely devilish, monstrous looking creatures. So it's interesting to see like the scale of what the Green Knight has come to represent to different people's imaginations, and in this case, like I guess David Lowery's imagination, like this kind of cool like wooden person or wooden man who kind of like lives in this green chapel and just kind of becomes one with nature, and then comes out once in a while and challenges people to weird games.
Hey, something to do,
I mean, yeah. I mean, he's noticing civilizations popping up. He's just like, I don't know, let's go see what they're up to.
Well, they got 2 5G towers now. Things are coming together.
Yeah.
Don't they have a conversation in the movie about like the Green Knight and like how like, or is it the conversation that Gawain has with the knight about like what his appearance and stuff like that? Am I
He might.
imagining that?
I don't remember if that was in the movie.
He says something about like how he's like green and it's like rot or something, but
Oh yeah,
also
no, that was in the manor. Yeah, where
yeah.
with the lady, the other of Alicia Vandiker's characters. She says like green represents like rot, all the stuff that we leave behind. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was really interesting.
but also like life and everything like that. And it's like it's just like a really cool conversation about like I don't know, like he's like your antagonist, but like I don't know if that makes him like the villain, you know? Like I
Yeah.
thought that was a cool conversation to have.
Oh, I thought that was great. I feel like that was sort of like the script in the movie, kind of plugging in some of those theories to it, like what does it represent or what does he represent, and that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I really liked it. I thought, um, I don't know, I was just so impressed with this movie and everything like the supernatural elements were played in so well and so cool. The Green Knight himself was so cool. Like he wasn't like he was scary and intimidating in that sense of like I don't know like what he represents. It could be so much more than we could comprehend or understand. Even though he wasn't like that intimidating in the sense like you said, he's not going to do flips and attack you. Like he only can beat you if you like go to him and then kneel, right?
Yep.
But there's so much more to it that just makes it scary. And like I mean, I guess like even in Gawain is compelled to actually follow through with it. Do you think that he's killed?
I think so. I don't know. I mean, just for me, like a lot of like why I respect the Green Knight or like at least like have admiration for the character is like he's not there to deceive you, and even though it's the weirdest, dumbest game in the world, like he made the rules pretty clear. Like, and I think it's like about it really goes to like how much like Gawain's character really tries to like make it like, oh yeah, this is like my time to shine. So like, even if he's just gonna let me strike him and I could like just nick him if I wanted to, I'm gonna chop his whole head off and like earn my like seat at the table. I think like it really plays into the hubris of it all. Like the only reason you're getting your head chopped off is because you chopped his head off. Like he explained the rules pretty clearly to you, dude. So like for me, the entire movie just loses weight if like it's just supposed to be some pat lesson, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like it was just like he comes all the way down and the blade like just touches his neck and then he's like, "You're ready to be king." Like what?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah, no,
yeah,
that makes sense. That makes sense.
yeah.
I think that I had read, there's a like two or so Vanity Fair interviews with Lowery, the director, that I was pulling a lot of this information from, which I'll link in our normal show notes. But he said something about how they actually filmed like a more definitive, like gruesome ending with I think like Dev Patel getting his head chopped off. But I think he said that he felt like it just wouldn't sit well with audience seeing like that as like a final sequence. So they wanted to, I think so. It sounds like in the mind of the creators, like you're right that he was killed, but I think they wanted to leave it more for interpretation so that people could like ponder it and think about it differently if they wanted to and take
I don't
different
know that it's
interpretations.
is it even up for interpretation? Like, are
I
we
think it is.
like,
I think it absolutely is because I like went onto like Reddits and message boards and stuff and like articles and like a lot of people think that he wasn't killed.
but everything about that scene suggests that he's going to be killed, right? Like, they did a whole what if like dream sequence to show you what it would look like if he didn't get killed right before he's gonna get killed. Like,
Right. But he like, but the idea is like he didn't get killed. He ran away, but he kept the green sash, which was like his last holdout of not having honor, right? And then when he pulls it off, then he dies in the flash forward. So in this version, when he takes it off, he's like holding up his honor, right? Like he's like, oh, I was supposed to give this to you, and now I'm taking it off and giving it to you. So like you could interpret it like, oh, he did what he needed to, like you said, that morality play. And so I'm with you, but I'm just saying like there's more there's a little bit more to it.
I guess I don't know. It just feels like that's a lot of hand holding that like audiences are expecting there. Where like it's I for me, there's a difference between like an abrupt ending and an ambiguous ending. This felt more abrupt to me, where it was like it didn't need to go that extra gratuitous length of watching Dev Patel's head fall off to understand that that's what was coming next.
Sure. How do you think he had a daughter then?
He, I mean, the man like was like the Bruce Wayne of his town. Like all he did was like I presumably, based on the few like things we saw him do on an average night, he'd just get hammered and have sex. Like maybe it's Alicia Vikander's kid, or maybe he had another like suitor.
Okay. So yeah, maybe.
Also, I don't know for sure that that's his daughter. It's just a girl that might be his daughter that finds a crown.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so TBD, TBC, to be continued.
Yeah. Only on Disney Plus.
Yeah. Speaking of Disney Plus, Khalid.
No.
Some Disney characters have been bears in the past, which is a segue to the Four Bears test.
That's not anything. That's not a segue. It's not a tangent. It's not come to think of it.
You didn't give me much to work with. You didn't give me much to work with at all.
Yeah, that's what happens when I'm not trying to give you something to like jump on. Like,
well, that's your fault then.
All right. Okay. I'll take the L. That was my bad. I've got a lot to learn.
Yeah, it is your bad.
Anyways, the Four Bears test. If this is your first time listening, basically I just ask what would happen if you took the monster that we're talking about out of the equation and you replaced it with four bears. Is it the same movie? It means something. So for this, if you replaced the Green Knight with four bears that I guess like also like this game and want to give a young buck an opportunity to prove himself, theoretically, yeah, it's the same threat insofar as like what's he really gonna do about it if four bears like come and challenge him and then like he follows through and has to like meet them a year later. It's a world full of mythical Gugas, so it's not that hard to believe that like, oh yeah, also bears have like nobility and like discourse and rules of engagement. So I guess in that sense, like if they're like Arthurian bears, then yes, it passes. This is the first time that like the I'm trying to like gauge if a bear could do the part not based on threat level. Because like the Green Knight is like he's about as threatening as like a guillotine. It's just the threat of like a blade dropping. It's not even necessarily like that he's doing the like hacking. Anybody could chop his head off and he'd still be scared. So yeah. Oh, okay. It fails the four bears test because bears don't have thumbs and couldn't use the axe to behead him. The axe feels very important to it all. He like kept picking it up at times, like magically reappeared after he got robbed. So yeah, bears can't hold axes, so it fails.
But four bears, couldn't they like work out something together to
like the Iwo Jima flag soldiers, like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess if they Iwo Jima flagged it, they could chop Dev Patel's head off.
Okay.
I'll be honest, like I'm very flummoxed on this one.
A conditional pass, perhaps?
Conditional pass based on if they're Arthurian bears, if the four of them know how to prop up and then subsequently drop a blade with enough force to chop someone's head off. And if it passes all of those asterisks, then it passes a test.
Oh, all right. I guess there you have it. Conditional pass or a conditional fail, depending on your perspective.
Yeah. Also, depending on if the bears have heard of the Iwo Jima statue that I'm referencing.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. That's the pretty famous statue.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna just say it's a pass. I'm not gonna fight it anymore.
All right. Speaking of fighting things, Khalid.
You're welcome. I actually teed you up for that one.
And I took it this time.
Thank God. I was really worried you'd walk right past it.
Yeah, I had to like kind of double take, I guess, figuratively, and be like, oh, did he say fight? Yeah, I should take that. So speaking of fight, Khalid, would you fight or flirt the Green Knight if you were in Sir Gawain's position? Or Gawain, as you say.
Gawain Brady.
Gawain, yeah.
Yeah. That's an interesting one. See, I want to say flirt just because like this is probably one of the more reasonable monsters that we've ever talked about on this podcast. Like it's a
Mhm.
very reasonable monster. It even lets Dev Patel's character run away if he wants to, you know? It's just he just has to live with the shame. So like that's a pretty easy to talk to monster. Like I wouldn't even be scared in that regard. So like flirt makes the most sense, but also it just I feel like the Green Knight would be disappointed if you try to do anything but fight him. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
like that way of like, I am the kingmaker. I am the one that like sees greatness in you, and the only way I can judge your greatness is if you are brave enough to like battle me, duel me, and like I would be so like starved for like that kind of approval. I think that I would fight him just to get him to like me.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he doesn't care who you are, right? Like he's lived presumably many lives, many like for a long time, and you're just like a speck.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the other thing. You know, like what's even a relationship like there? Like you saw what he did for that full year. He sat in a chair.
Yeah.
Like you know, spiders just like made hella webs on him. Like
Sat in
I
a chair.
just, yeah, you know, like which I don't know. That could be nice if you're looking for that in a partner, like some like really low maintenance like paramour. But I want a little bit more than that. Not a lot more, but I want a little bit more than that.
So fight it.
I would fight it.
There you have it. I like it. So
Yeah.
a 4 bears pass and a fight it.
And a fight it. Four bears
Yeah.
and a fight it.
Cool. I like it. I like this. This is a great movie. Let's move on to our final segment of the episode and wrap it up. It's actually kind of a longer episode for us to do just to Khalid and Joe. Usually a little bit shorter, but I think there's just a lot to unpack here, wasn't there?
Well, there's also 20 minutes of me looking for what the end credits scene was.
It's okay.
But no, yeah, I really enjoyed talking about this one.
Right. So, for those of you who are new, our final segment of Frankenstein's podcast is our what the fandom section. And in that we do we talk about things that we're into in the moment, whether or not we're reading something, watching something, listening to something that we're just into that may or may not have anything to do with monsters, but we think you guys might dig. So, Khalid, what the fandom with you?
Well, thank you for asking me, Joe. This week's What the Fandom for me is going to be a Vimeo documentary called Calabasas 12620. It is a 10-minute documentary, real breezy, like a quick bite, if you will, or any kind of abbreviation of quick bite you can think of a documentary that I think a lot of people could get a lot of enjoyment from if they watched it. It's by this guy Xavier Rotnowski, or at least that's his Vimeo channel. And so the short and sweet of it is that these documentarians were doing like a documentary about these guys that like they're like UFO chasers. So like they'll like chart things in the sky and then like try to get people together, and they'll go out and they'll look up in the sky and try to see if they clock a UFO. And he was going to do a documentary about them. But then the morning of, like when he was going to go do the documentary with them out in Calabasas on 12620, which is the name of the story, which is important, that date. That was the day that Kobe Bryant and I think it's like 7 or 8 other people died in that helicopter crash at the beginning of 2020. And it's interesting because like he didn't set out to do a documentary about the Kobe Bryant crash. You literally can't. It's one of those things that like it just happens and you're either there or you're not. And he happened to be there with a decent camera, with a guy there to like help him like record audio, and he just like got people's like reactions to it, like just like people that were on the scene. Like he saw as paparazzi started coming up, he was like giving people like as like intel started coming in, like, oh no, Kobe Bryant was in that helicopter. And it's just a super fascinating window into like a moment that if in any other circumstance you just have to stitch together with like random like found cell phone footage, and instead you had this documentarian that happened to be there for a completely different reason and was able to like just get this snapshot of a moment that at least having lived in LA for the last 5 years was like a huge event that really kicked off a crap year in 2020, you know? So like just seeing the story about a guy that like clearly touched a lot of people in the Los Angeles community. I mean, you can only go so far down like Hollywood without seeing another mural of the man. It was an interesting watch. So I recommend it. Calabasas 12620.
Damn, yeah, that sounds kind of heavy.
It's heavy, but like again, like it's a bunch of people from LA that are all of a sudden on camera and like they're trying their best to be like poignant about like something that just happened while also plugging things that they do.
Wow.
So
So
it's
just like
like
a fascinating insight into just people.
yeah, but like at no point, at least to me, at no point did it like read as like tacky or inappropriate. It's literally just like I don't know what else to do right now. Like this is just a surreal moment, and I have a camera in front of me.
Yeah, wow. All right. Well, I will definitely link that in the notes as well.
Yeah, check it out. I'll send you the link. Joe, what the fandom with you?
Thank you for asking, Khalid. What the fandom with me? I haven't been really engaging in a lot of like really like I don't know transcendental media or whatever you do over there in LA, Khalid. But
Transcendental media, is that what we call Vimeo?
I guess.
All right.
We'll go.
Sorry, go on.
But honestly, I've been pretty busy, but I've been watching a lot of Doctor Who lately, and I thought that it might be nice to just mention that it's a great show. It's been in the news a little bit lately. It was just announced that Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall, the showrunner at the moment, they're both leaving the show after the 13th season coming up. So we're going to be getting probably wild speculations on who the next Doctor and showrunner is going to be for the next like year or so until they announce that. But that's kind of an exciting news in the Doctor Who world. And I'm behind. I'm going through Peter Capaldi's run, just finishing up, I think his second season as the Doctor, so I have one more with him. But I'm enjoying it. It's every Doctor brings something different to the role, so it's fun. If you don't watch it, it's kind of cool. Just how long running and how storied the history is, and how just like absolutely silly the premises are. Like I just watched one where literally like eye boogers in your eyes became monsters and attacked people on a space station, and that was the plot. I mean, there's a little bit more to it, but they could just make this absolutely ridiculous premise be somehow weighty and intense. And so I don't know, that's the fun of Doctor Who. So I would say if you haven't gotten into it, it's fun. Recommend it. Yeah, that's my fandom right now.
Nice. Eye boogers, guys.
Yeah.
Check it out. Eye booger monsters.
Check it out.
Amazing. Well, thank you all for listening to another awesome episode. Joe, it was really great to talk about this new movie with you.
Likewise.
I think it's going to be, I'm looking forward to like more people checking it out and discussing it even more. And again, if you're listening to this podcast and you watch it, please send me anything that like strengthens my student loans theory.
Yeah.
It's all I have right now. So please help me.
Even better, Khalid.
Yeah.
Write your theory in a review and give us 5 stars while you're at it.
Yes. Write your Green Knight theory in a review. Hit that 5-star, not that 1, not that 3. Hit that 5, and I will be thankful for all that you've done for us. At least 2 things in that instance. But yeah, thank you guys for listening to this episode. It's fun as always, and we appreciate you guys listening. And do we know what we're doing next episode yet, Joe?
I think our next episode is actually going to be an interview with an artist who illustrates monsters.
Yeah, we talking to artists about monsters. Let's do it. Yeah, that should be a really good one, actually. The artwork is super cool. Joe
Yeah.
Joe will link to it all before the episode drops. But until next time, thank you guys for listening, and creep it easy.